You got it over there? Well, all right, we got Wake Forest, Texas.
I haven't seen Texas this year.
Let me get this.
This is more than just another match. Yeah, good luck with that attitude. But it's certainly you're trying to play all kinds of mind games.
All right, we got our first live commentary. We got Texas against Wake Forest, national championship. They're getting ready to start with the three doubles. UTR, both teams are very similar. In fact, they're the exact same. So I'm going to bring up the UTR there.
And you have to win 4 points today to be called the national champion when you leave the USTA national games.
Now, I would think that they say that the doubles point is more valuable to another team than the other. I guess in this situation, we're feeling our instinct tells us that Texas probably needs the doubles point to win the match. Now I'm here with my good friend Dave Howe, who's kind of chilling around, watching it on YouTube TV. So Dave, I know you don't like doubles at all, but what do you think? Do you think it's more important for Texas, or do you think it's more important for Wake to win the doubles point? And our microphone picks up the whole room, Dave.
Darryl, it's not that I don't like doubles.
See, when you start off a statement, it's not that you don't like doubles. You kind of don't like doubles.
No, I think doubles is great. I just don't understand it.
He doesn't understand doubles. Well, Dave, it's usually like two players against two players in the doubles.
Well, that part I get. I just really don't understand where the players are standing on the court and why they're standing there. It just seems to me it's just not that difficult to be in the right position. But seems to be a lot of attempts to overplay situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really did appreciate Katrina Adams the other day. She was watching one of the ladies' team matches, and she commented, she said, sometimes I think some of these kids get too close to the net.
Right.
And so I have a problem with that. Sometimes I think there are two players who are too close to the net and diagonally opposite one another, and I don't really think they're involved in the point. But other than that, I like doubles a lot. And I really have no idea now between Wake Forest and Texas. My philosophy in college tennis is you go out there trying to prepare to win 4 singles matches just in case you don't get the doubles point.
Right. Yes. Now, I see, Dave, I think, though, the fact that they're playing no-ad scoring, I think no-ad scoring makes the whole situation a lot tighter for everybody. They're more reluctant to come to the net. It makes them grab bag a little bit more. So we're watching the Wake #1 team here, and they're playing 2-back. The guy just went commando and just ran in the net. But typically they start off with 2-back, and so you don't see a lot of that so-called traditional doubles. The Dennis Vandermeer hot seat drill has been aborted.
Yeah, see, that guy just made a nice play there.
That was a nice play. He dipped.
He made a nice play and hit the ball at the guy right in the
sure.
on the center line. And, I'm not sure that the guy would. Well, what was the guy? Was he hitting a protected volley or a concluding volley?
Yeah, I would say it's protective.
Protected volley.
Yeah.
And the guy was able to take over the point from there.
But now, why when he went in though? Why didn't this guy go in with him? Just in case you had to clean up the point. I need an answer from that, Dave.
My opinion is his partner should have gone in with him.
Yeah.
Now, the Wake guys looked like they were in a pretty good position right there. The guy went up the line, or what ultimately the other people don't understand the call 6 there.
Now, as far as coaches, though, Wake Forest, you got Tony Bresky. and he won a national championship last year at Wake Forest. And I kind of don't think that's that special that he won a national championship because he was at Indiana State with Brian Boland. They got Indiana State into the top 20. Then they both ended up at Virginia. So Virginia, they did some. Tony was Brian Boland's assistant. They did some magical stuff there that led to NCAA singles championships and NCAA championships. And then Bresky went to Cornell and turned on the magic there. In his first year, won the Ivy Leagues. And now he's at Wake Forest. I think he could almost do it anywhere. He's got that niche, as far as for getting players.
Well, now, you seem to know a lot about him. It is in the the areas of.
Hey, now Dave, hold on a second. Hey, Doug Nagel, I see you're watching. Hey, your coach was just in here at the Cape, Frank, and all he does is brag about you all the time. And that gets kind of old. And the fact that you won Coach of the Year this year, he's basically wearing a Doug Nagel T-shirt around here in Virginia Beach. But Doug, well done. Special shout out to Clark, Adam, and Ralph for also watching on Facebook Live. We also got this going on YouTube. We got our man over here on the couch. This is kind of Barstool Sports. Dave Howe, the creator of UTR. And the founder of Seven Shot Tennis. I'm sorry, Dave, I interrupted.
Go right ahead. I forgot what I was saying.
And both Dave and I.
About 6 months.
You pay Frank a lot of money. I see that, Doug. Now, if you could send us some money, some of that Florida money. But anyway, Dave. Also, just an announcement. Dave, Hal, and I are the oldest millennials. We've cut the cord, so we have YouTube TV, and we're watching this on our phones because of my Apple TV hasn't been upgraded. We haven't figured it out yet. So anyway, what kind of score we got here? We got 1-0 Texas.
We're on serve.
We're on serve.
Darryl, do you have access to what kind of ratings these guys have?
Well, Dave, you kind of put me on the spot there. I released that earlier. Yes, I do.
So we can get give us the 4 players.
Well, now I kind of focus on doubles there. Focus on singles. So we can see if there's any stacking going on, if anybody's throwing doubles. But doubles is kind of a crapshoot anyway. Now, David, this is what I got to ask you. A special shout out to John Chris. We miss you in this area. I'm here with Dave Howe. We're making our special commentary on this match. I know you wish Tennessee was in this thing, but hey.
Can you ask John a question for me?
I can ask John a question for you, Dave.
You still have that Wilson racket on sale there at that club in Murfreesboro?
Hey, John, you still got that Wilson racket for sale there at the club?
What, the big one?
The big one?
Nobody was going to buy.
No one's going to buy it. Get back to us on that. Hey, now, Dave, with the doubles, this is the thing that's a little confusing to me. Is I went to some Division III matches this year. Why does Division III play 8-game pro sets with ad? 8-game pro sets with ad. And Division I plays 1 set to 6, no ad. And Division III, the doubles each counts a point. So I've seen a team up 3-0. I saw Hampton Sydney up 3-0 on Virginia Wesleyan, up 3-0 going into singles where you only need to win 2 singles. Why is it so different?
It's a cultural difference.
It's a culture difference.
It's a cultural difference.
I feel like when Dave Howe says a culture difference, it's like you don't really have an answer. But anyway.
D3 is a lot different from D1. They're trying to maintain some traditions, but I'm just not a big fan of this 8-game pro set stuff.
No, I don't like 8-game pro set, but 8-game pro set, 8-game pro set with ad, 1 set no ad. Can we split the difference there or something like that? It'd be nice to have a uniform format because I've been to some of those Division 3 matches, and they're quite long. I mean, the double's quite long.
Well, you answered the question right there as to why it's a 6-game deal in D1 and it's only no ad is because people they want to get people out to watch matches.
Mm-hmm.
And people do enjoy watching matches, and it's a quicker format. And apparently, it's considered more exciting. I think you could. What I would do with the 8-game pro set is I would split it into 2 mini sets. 4 games, you got to win 4.
Yep.
So that you have a reset partway through the match. Whereas you get down in an 8-game pro set, you're down 4-1 or something like that. You begin to get the feeling that trying to get back in this thing is going to be a little tough. Whereas if you just cut it off at 4-1, reset, start a new one, you got to split sets. Okay, now let's figure out, do we want to play the third out or do we want to do something more abbreviated?
Sure, a little bit more abbreviated where you get a reset button, you win the games by 2. Yeah, you give them. Now, so I'm here. We're making some commentary. Dave Howe, UTR creator on the couch here. Now look at that, Dave. Now Bruce Burke, he's got that interim tag next to him. So I mean, you think if he wins the national championship, he gets the head coaching job? I mean, he's an interim coach.
He should be at Michigan.
Yeah. Now Bruce used to be. He worked for Craig Tiley at Illinois. And that guy has some compulsive disorders. I mean, he has everything organized. I bet. So let's see if the Texas guy serves some volleys here. Here they're playing this eye thing. And I hate this eye thing that they play when they bend down. I mean, you're dizzy when you get up. Okay, now they're going eye to all this signal stuff. I mean, just serve down the middle and play regular and crunch it. Okay, what do we got here? Is he going to serve in volley?
Bruce has been a head coach, right?
Yes. Yeah. Now, Bruce won a national championship with Craig Tiley in Illinois. He was a tennis coach. He was the head coach at Michigan. And, and he probably didn't win enough there. And then he went to Texas and worked his way up the ladder. And Michael Center had that little situation, which is a big situation. But anyway, so now he's the interim coach. Now, look, I just think it's a sin. Texas guy serves and stays back. I mean, you got to get in there. I mean, if you're from Texas and you're doing that Longhorn thing, well, you got to man up and get in there.
Let's go back to what you were talking about a minute
Hey,
ago.
Dave, we got Kevin Epley watching. Hey, Kevin, great one. We were rooting for you, man. We were there for you. If you were in this championship match, Kevin, tonight, we would have, which you should be because you're better than Georgia. I mean, you're better than Georgia. We would have been there tonight. We would have private jet that thing to get there and see you.
I think Kevin's number 1 player, Ingrid Martins.
You think Ingrid? Yeah.
She's maybe the best player I saw this season.
Singles. Now, but Kevin Epley's one of those coaches too. He's kind of like who's the Wake Forest coach? My good friend Bresky. My good friend Bresky. My good buddy Bresky. I had to look that up. But Epley can win in a lot of places. I mean, he had women married top 16 in the country. The guy knows how to recruit and develop. He had a doubles team make the final.
So you just made a key thing there. How many days a year are these guys in recruiting mode?
I think recruiting's a lot like shaving. If you miss a day, you look like a bum. No offense. You gotta be.
That's why I'm not on camera with you.
Yeah, Dave refuses to be on camera because he stumbled in here from the Bob Seger concert that was going on in Virginia Beach last night. So I think there was an after-hour party. Now Doug says D3 dubs is worth 3 points, so 8-game pro sets regular scoring is good. Okay, Dan Silverstone, he doesn't think Bruce is going to get the job. He doesn't think. Now, Sid Carvello just logged on here to Facebook Live.
Now, Sid has another really good player.
No, Sid does not have a good player.
Sid's not, but he had one.
He had a good player, and Sid is retired.
I love watching Lauren Proctor play.
Yeah, Lauren Proctor, she was great. But that's probably why Sid retired. It drove him crazy to have to coach her. But anyway, so Sid is retired. He's out of the game now. So not really out of the game. I'm sure he's going to come back like one of those boxers.
Kid made a good move with the net right there.
Now, so the kid didn't make a good move?
Well, because he moved forward and then came across. us.
So what's the score we have? What's the score we have on the Dubs?
2-1 somewhere.
Okay, now well, we got Laura Giltz watching. Now let's come up with some intelligent stuff since she's watching. Now, Dave, when you originally created the UTR, that we found it, I found it. I like using the word "I" a lot. It wasn't necessarily used just for rating. It was used to evaluate situations. How if the kids were getting good matches, if tournaments were pretty good, evaluating coaching. Now, these 12 players that are going to take the court today, in the last 6 months, as far as trending, only 2 players, and this is Wake Forest and Texas combined, only 2 players UTR has went up in the last since January 1st, and the other 10 players, their UTRs went down. Now, I'm not saying it went down by a whole point. It might be 0.02 or 0.2, 0.3, something like that. So it'd be nice to get some feedback from coaches out there on their thoughts about UTR going up and down. I know we use UTR a lot on the tennis channel to talk about some of the pro players and how everything's trending. And so these 2 teams, they seem to be, I mean, you're going by the numbers, they're trending down. So 10 players. Now, how does that happen with all the resources? I mean, just looking at the budgets here on these programs, each program is spending over $1 million a year per program. How do those UTRs drop? I mean, shouldn't everybody be getting better?
The question is, are they trying to get better, or are they just trying to win?
Trying to get better. Are they trying to get better?
Not to lose.
Are they trying not to lose? Well, I've coached some college tennis, and I can tell you, I think I was going to focus more on winning than developing. I mean, we played hyper-eye to the ad side, so Salman Bader never had to hit a backhand volley. Okay, look, Texas guys coming in. We're down 0-3. I'm telling you, if Wake Forest wins this thing, if they win the doubles point, this baby ain't going to last long.
Well, now, did you see that lob that just went up there?
Is it a lob? Let me see.
Well, just a minute
Here we go. It's slow. That wasn't a lob. That was a high drop shot.
Maybe what kind of score you got? Maybe you're,
I got
maybe
0-3.
Apple and my YouTube on the Android are 2 different times.
You got to get rid of that Android, man. That's it. You got to get an iPhone.
Look at that.
The picture's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, are we watching the same? Is it the same match?
3 love.
I got 3 love, 40 love. What do you got?
I got 3 love, 15 love.
Well, I can tell you it's going to get to 40 love.
Let me see if I can see this.
You got to speed up your streaming there. But anyway, so Dave, what do you, I mean, it's kind of cool to see the UTR created in 2007. You know, it's become common language. There's even people that get obsessed with it. So people getting obsessed with it, they get some therapy. So what's your thoughts? I mean, I know you're still pumped about seeing Bob Seger last night, but can you dial it in to give me a little feedback about any intrinsic value there as far as seeing UTR and the way it's utilized?
Well, it's utilized a lot of ways, but I don't know how much it's utilized during the season by coaches or players. In fact, I think there's a lot of coaches who may follow it, look at their players. They're probably looking mainly at their recruits.
And now, Dave, Felicia just texted in, too much emphasis on winning in college tennis and not enough developing future pros. Now, she used an emoji. What does IMHO mean?
You're talking to the wrong person if you ask him what it emoji means.
Hey, Dave Schwartz, glad you're watching on Facebook Live. We also got this going on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, YouTube too. But anyway, yeah, there is. If you are focused on winning, which is easy to get paranoid about this because it's not easy to make the NCAA tournament. It's not easy to advance in this tournament. All of these matches and many matches in the country are coming down to 2 sets. So I don't need players hitting too close to the lines. I kind of maybe put the ball up.
Well, at some point, we probably would get into the conversation about how does the no ad affect all this stuff as well.
Yeah, I think no ad makes these guys play a little bit tighter, and certainly as a coach, I mean, it has to increase a little bit of paranoia. Does anybody have any thoughts about that out there? Again, we got YouTube Live and Facebook Live going on. Anybody got any thoughts about no ad? If it good or bad? Now, in a second, I'll show you. Felicia, she's watched a lot of men's OU and Oklahoma State matches and UT women's matches. So, Felicia, you're pretty much an expert. I mean, because that you've watched some first class tennis. And short comment is they don't like no ad in the juniors. Yeah. Now, I think we discussed this one time. No ad we thought was good for entertainment. We found it to be very entertaining, kind of like the circus. And we know what happened to the circus. It's kind of gone. Hey, now I'm here with the UTR creator. Yeah, the pros don't like to play that. I don't know if anyone likes to play it. I mean, if there's 12 players out here on the court with Wake Forest and Texas, I wonder if they like to, if anyone likes to play it. Now,
that's the players who are the better players.
Yeah, that's right. Now, one thing that we got to throw a shout out to, that camera in Orlando at the USTA National Campus, that's cool. The fact that one camera can float around in the back and go to when it's in a critical game. Okay, number 3 doubles is 3-1 Texas 30-all. What do we got? What do we got at 2 doubles?
4-1 Wake Forest.
Is that at 2 doubles?
Ours is 2-all.
Okay, I'm gonna still try to get it on the television here. Now, as far as this NCAA tournament, next year it gets moved to Oklahoma State. I'm not sure that's a good thing. I mean, I kind of liked it when it was at Georgia. I mean, it was developing a home, know all the restaurants, and it develops a little ambiance about it. But one thing that this USTA National Campus is really nice, and I know it skips a year and then it comes back, but having it as a permanent site at a place certainly allows it to build some traditions and so forth.
Well, what amazes me is we just had a good shot looking at the stands. A couple of times I went to Georgia and then I went to Stanford one time. In Georgia, well, the Dogs were playing.
Yeah, Georgia.
You turn around, it's just a sea of red all the way up,
Yeah.
I don't know, 20, 25 rows, 30 rows. And, they're all going hoop, 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 whatever they say down there. But, that was a really terrific atmosphere. And as I'm looking at the stands, I'm seeing a lot of blue. But even in the year I went to Stanford, I felt like I saw more. I've never seen a big contingent for UVA.
Yeah.
And you see the orange and blue filling up. I'm not sensing it right now looking at this.
Yeah, but if you give it a little bit of time,
Well, that could be.
you give it a little bit of time, people travel.
Facility. I agree with you on the camera.
Yeah, the camera's
ability to
great.
kind of move back and forth between, and it's getting a great angle.
Yeah, the angle's great. I mean, I feel like I'm on court with the guys.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 doubles, 4-1. Wait, what's the score in 1 double?
There were 2
2
all last I saw.
Okay, so 2-3,
Well,
40-15.
Yeah. But looked like it's staying on. So.
But what are y'all's thoughts out there? Like now, John Chris wants to know how many of the Wake and Texas pairs are ranked. Hey, John, can you look that up for us? It's on ITA Tennis. I mean, We've been sucking out some sodas and popcorn here, man. Our research staff is not that good. I mean, you're looking at it. Okay, so Felicia, you're loving the USTA campus. It neutralizes the home court advantage. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, if Central Florida's in the final, maybe not. But I went to a Central Florida match at the national campus, and they beat Miami. No, but I'd agree. I think you got to give it the USTA. Spending money in facilities like this, when you go there, there's nice concessions, there's a nice little place to eat, plenty of parking. I think they're going to improve the shade. I think we're going to have more shade. So,
is it easy to get in and out?
Oh, it's cake. I mean, to get in and out is nice. I mean, you go into it. There's a nice.
What was hard was getting into that concert last night.
The Bob Seger concert was.
No,
what is you didn't have VIP access? Didn't you tell me?
You couldn't get in.
You didn't. Yeah, well, Bob Seger.
He backed him in.
And Dave and I have nothing in common with this.
He went to pay tribute to Prince.
Well, yeah, everybody should pay.
Prince.
Of course, you should pay tribute to Prince. But my last concert I saw was Something in the Water. Had Snoop Dogg and Pharrell. Also saw Drake. So Dave goes to Bob Seger.
Drake Bernstein was there?
No, Drake Bernstein. So what do we got here in the doubles here? What do we got? 4-2 at number 2. Hey, but out there, what do y'all think of this? So Felicia, she says the Oklahoma State tennis campus is, it's first class. So Felicia, do you think, would you rather have it, since you've been to a lot of Oklahoma State matches, would you rather have it on campus or would you rather have it at the USTA national campus? So Felicia lives in Oklahoma last 6 years. Now they're back in Austin. So, Felicia, I got a feeling you're rooting for Texas in this one. Are you rooting for Texas? Who are you rooting for, Dave?
I'm not.
Oh, God.
I'm not.
This isn't like ESPN where we can't take a view. I mean, I'm rooting for Wake Forest. Every time I watch a sporting event, I got to pick someone to win. I want Wake Forest.
You want the Eastern team.
I want the Eastern team. Now, I'm not saying that's why I'm rooting for Wake Forest, because they're the Eastern team. That's about it. But the colors of Texas, much better, and that little Longhorn
logo is pretty cool.
Hook'em is really cool.
What is Wake Forest? What's their mascot?
The Demon Deacons, yeah.
Demon Deacons.
But no, they're still Demon Deacons. I mean, there's nothing that's not politically correct about being a Demon Deacon. I mean, it might not be, might not be that great. Okay, so we got some break points. Look at this guy. They're just staying back. Now look, it's 1-on-1. One guy on the island. I still don't understand why the other guy doesn't get in there to help clean up the point.
What's the score you got right now?
I got 3-all at number 1 doubles. I think I got 30-40.
2 points. 30-all.
They haven't changed it. Is it 30-40 or 15-40? There it is, 30-40. So Wake Forest has a double break point because of Sunday.
That's what gets me.
What don't you like?
Okay, they're up 15-40.
Yeah.
Okay, they got three break points. 30-40, you got 2.
Now I don't get this. There's one guy up in the net, and they put the ball on his racket.
They did that a minute ago, and it left the other guy who wasn't covering the middle.
Just fill the gap. Just fill the gap and run into the net and put pressure on them. Okay, now we got a deuce point. They're taking it on the deuce side. They're going to swing him wide. Oh, man, he's swinging wide. Whoops, no, into the body. Whoa. Second serve. Ooh. Okay, we got a second serve. Oh, there goes the bucket serve right in the middle of the box. Cross court rallies. Lady 3-5 tennis. Whoops. How? That's pathetic. I mean, to be UTR level 14 player and you're not going to the net? Look at that. That's not level 14s. That's terrible. That's terrible. I mean, there's no putting pressure on the guy coming in that. I wonder how Katrina Adams feels about that. I wonder if she ever talked to Martin Black. Okay, now I got Joe Sarver with a question.
Mark Black was the
Martin Blackman. Blackman. He's in charge of. Right. Okay, John Chris, our.
Has he gotten back to me on that racket yet?
No, he's not worried about the racket. John Chris says Texas number 5, Wake Forest 54, 55, and 63. Hey, Felicia's chiming in. She agrees. They're playing like UTR 8s. 12s player. Yes. I mean, Tony Bresky, I mean, does it come down to coaching or recruiting? Because he can recruit, but that's not good. Now, Joe Sarver on YouTube Live, do you think D3 should adopt the 1 point for doubles rule? I say yes.
I would agree with that.
I'd say yes. Now,
but you know, when I talk to some of the D3 people, it's a little bit more about participation. More players on the team.
Oh, that's nonsense. I mean,
because that creates more legacy, man.
No. Byron Balkan at Hampton Sydney, he's just thinking about beating W&L. He's not thinking about participation or, growing the game. Don't you love that expression? Maybe they're growing the game.
Maybe they're just feeding the line.
But anyway,
I like the idea that these guys from the same team are wearing 2 different colored hats.
I don't like that.
It should be the same hats.
Uniform. That bothers me.
Now, who handles that? Is that the captain of the team or the coach?
I tell you what, in my programs, it wouldn't be a problem because you only get one color. It would be like Penn State, man. You just got – it's not hard to confuse. Can you imagine you're playing at Oregon? You got like 5 or 6 different Nike outfits. You'd be confused on what to wear.
Okay, we got a point there.
We got a point. No, when you say we got a point, that means Texas won, so that sounds like you're rooting for Texas. Okay, number 2 doubles, 5-2 for Wake Forest, the Demon Deacons.
So it's coming down to number 1 doubles.
Yeah, now, this is a little sensitive issue, Dave, but out of the 12 players on the court, only 1 is American.
What's so sensitive about that?
I'm just saying there's 1 American. I mean, I'm not saying it's sensitive. I'm just saying there's 1 American. We got 1 Croatian, 2 from Cyprus, 1 Israeli, Montenegro. What is Montenegro?
Somewhere in the mountains of Europe.
I thought Montenegro was where that movie Shawshank Redemption, when he left prison.
Yeah, he went to Mexico.
Okay, it's not in Mexico. Okay, so anyway, it sounded like that. Okay, so we got 2 from Cyprus, 1 from India, 1 from Japan, Brazil, and then the American is from Texas. We got a kid from Bolivia. And Denmark. So we got a lot of countries. Liz, I see that you tuned in. It's very nice to have some people from the West Coast. Okay, Felicia, what's the deal with playing 2 back? Now, listen, I play a lot of 2 back. I coach up 2. Let me tell you, I'm going to tell you, Felicia, why you got to play 2 back in college. You play 2 back because coaching up the hot seat about when to move in and all that and trying to defend against the net person, that's like so hard to coach. And it's not really hard to coach, but it's very time consuming. So it's a lot easier to play 2 back. And what I found was many international kids, they played less doubles than the Americans. So the Americans were a little bit more proficient in the doubles. So when you play 2 back, and you never play 2 back, or you play 2 back because you just simplify the game. So you turn it into team singles, Dave. Not doubles, team singles. Now, Liz, and Ashley was, and this is Liz's mother's on here on, or not Liz's mother, Ashley's mother. Ashley won.
Our Ashley from here?
Yeah, our Ashley from here. Where Ashley's actually from the West Coast.
Well, I know her,
but her mother, when she won Ojai, that term when she won that. Yeah. She Ashley didn't play an American the whole time. I mean, not for that. I'm not for or against it. But anyway, it's very. But some people say, hey, if you have international plays, it really helps the Americans because it gives them something to compete against. In this situation, we got internationals competing against internationals. So, okay.
I guess the question I would have is the communities where these colleges are.
Yeah. Okay. So what do we got? Okay.
Do they help out tennis in the community?
Yeah. Yeah. Do they help out tennis community? And, yeah.
I will throw you some good stuff here, Darryl.
Wait a minute, Dave.
Stop.
Okay. No. Go ahead. You're throwing out good stuff. Wait a minute. Wait. Can I give you a John Chris? We're going to put John Chris on our research team because there's 7.7 billion people in the world. 330 million in the U.S. approximately.
Yes.
Now, I don't know what we do with that stat other than it's a nice filler. There's 770. What does that mean, John? I mean, does it mean we should have more tennis players, or are we just right on?
Well, what's the size of it? What's the overall market? Tennis market, U.S. market probably is at least 25%.
25%. Okay.
I think.
Yes. Okay, you were getting ready to say something
I'm
positive.
ready to say something nice about you, Darryl.
Okay, I'm listening.
Keep going, or should I?
No, if you could just get it out, maybe type it, email would be good too. Yes.
Over the years, you had a number of international players who came through the Old Dominion program and now the Norfolk State program.
Yep.
And many of these people stayed in the area, built businesses,
Yep.
Contributed, in terms of paying taxes and all that good thing, have families and are really a big part of the community here and have been a big part of the tennis community. And one of the things we saw when UTR started in the old days when we were doing stuff here, having all those players here and so many of them being willing to play was a big factor in getting the whole thing going. So that's good.
Well, Dave, thank you. We got a nice sense of community. Now, Dave, Andres is watching, but it's a different Andres. Hey, Andres, look what I got. Whoops, sorry, here you go. Hey, tennistrunk.com right here. It makes a great gift. We're on YouTube Live, Tennis Trunk. So my friend Andre said this is his company. And, you can get stuff. And you can get some, look at that. I got some tennis balls in here, et cetera, et cetera. Still got the grip. So anyway, go to Tennis Trunk. Whoops, game, set, match. Wrong thing. This is the nicest box ever. This is the night. I mean, to get this just as a box, but it's a great gift. It's just like that razor company that sends you razors, and it's a lot better than getting like a Harry and David food basket. So anyway, Tennis Trunk. Okay, so what do we got? Did we win the doubles point?
I'm running 2 points behind you, but it looks like Texas is.
I got 5-4, 40.
Match point here. 40 love is where I am.
Now, some of these commentators, they call this set point. Okay, look, they put it up there, match point.
It's a match.
I wonder if we can get a gig next year at the USTA calling this thing.
She has to get the doubles point right here.
There it is. And he serves and stays back. Man, at 40 love, you can't give me a serving volley? We got Blake watching on some Facebook Live. Blake's coached him up some college tennis. Okay, 5-4, 40-15. Wouldn't you just run to the net and stomp your feet? That's what we got to do is run to the net and stomp your feet. So. What do we got? By the way, this YouTube Live stuff is good. You can watch it on your phone, your iPad. Look at this, the cross-court rally in doubles. Oh, tell me this isn't nonsense. 5-4, 40 love. Serve wide. Cross-court rally. Somebody jumps in the middle. I mean, Katrina Adams in the commentary. What is she saying? That's impressive.
A
It's
set
just-
point remains.
right here, they're just hoping for a miss. Somebody's hoping for a miss.
That is.
Look, two people are back. Oh, man. Look, and the other guy still doesn't come to me. I mean, what was that? Gojo? UTR? Goyo. UTR 14.41. Now, in January, the guy had a UTR of 14.67. So, in a nice way, you're getting worse in college. I mean, you need to go play some pro tennis.
Let me ask you, what's the effect of no ad as far as that's concerned?
What does no ad do? I mean, like Liz just won in here afraid to lose.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is with the no ad, I mean, I've seen matches where a player had 5 no ad points in a set and won every single one. I've seen others.
Yes.
Teams had 5 no ad points and lost all but one. And so the scores are kind of skewed. They're playing after deuce.
I mean, tennis. The nature of the game is to win first 1 to 4 points, we got to win by 2. I mean, but we're stuck with. The majority of coaches didn't want no ad, but it is what it is.
If you're gonna mess around with anything, mess around with the set.
Yeah, that's
not
right.
The game.
Yeah. Shorten the set.
In baseball, are you going to change it to 3 balls and 2 strikes or something? If you want a shorter game,
no.
Go from 9 innings to 7 innings.
Okay, now Felicia, who's providing us better information than John and Chris. John's just telling us how big the world is. Felicia says many top college men players have gone down a half a UTR point playing college tennis. Is what she's seen, and that's what we've seen. That many of the top players are you don't get better. I mean, a player that we had at Old Dominion, Isaac Fundamerby, he's coaching at Baylor with Bolin. He got really good in college. I mean, he made the semifinals or better in all 3 national championships in singles and doubles. And he had a line. He says, a lot of people work hard, but not everybody gets better. So, so yeah. I mean, I think Felicia, you pointed on it, and other people. There's such a consumption about winning that it's really not a place that you necessarily get better. I mean, some say. Dave told me. I'm here with Dave Howe, the creator of UTR. Look, you recruit like hell to get these players. We've even heard some coaches say this. Hey, you recruit like hell, you get them to try like hell, and then you coach them up, and then you coach like hell. But the coaching is always, come on, here we go, 1 more point. Let's get this one. Here we go, Deacons. Let's fight. Let's try. So it's not really in our game of tennis. It's very archaic. There's not even common language. Actually, there's beginning to be common language. There's 7-shot tennis. It's common language. But it seems like there's just a lot of BS there in the coaching. And by if you're going to use UTR on the tennis channel to show some trending of players incrementally improving over the last 3 or 4 months. I mean, to look at this and see that players aren't improving that's a fair assessment too. Got any thoughts on that, Dave? Oh, here's Tony Bresky being interviewed.
Yeah, I was looking at Bresky.
His hair, man. Why wouldn't you dye your hair, Tony? I mean, because before he started there, he used to have like black hair. Now it's like, I mean, I'm not saying white hair is bad, but I think he ought to dye his hair.
Was there a question in there somewhere? I didn't know.
Well, we're talking about the declining of some of these players' UTR, and Felicia's pointing out here, says, wasn't UT men's tennis highest power 6 at the beginning of the season? Well, their number 1 players went from a 14.5 to a 14.12. The 2-player has actually gotten better. Went from a 14.24 to 14.27. 3-player went down. Went from a 13.51 to 13.41. So every player's dropped. The 6-player went from a 13.61 to a 13.3. So they've dropped, so I mean, I think that's a fair question to ask why. You know, that some. I mean, when we looked at the schools, some of the best. We looked at men and women and see who was developing. I mean, we haven't found a program that has 6 players that all got better, improved their UTR. We found some with 4.
I think 4 is pretty good, though. I think 4 is really good.
Now, John Chris says that the U.S. is roughly 4.4% of the world population.
Yeah, but that's not the tennis market.
That's not the tennis market?
I mean, the tennis market is 100 million players, maybe.
Yeah, 100 million. I mean, that's what Mark Leslie says, or that's what UTR says. There's 100 million tennis players. Okay, now Sid, he's got a theory on this UTR thing going down. He says they go down on the UTR because they don't practice enough and can only play 25 matches per year. Now, let me think about that, Sid. I can't really disagree.
Well, they're also going to class.
Well, yeah, they they go to class.
And they're trying to make grades. And they're on their own a lot, even though they've got coaching and everything. They're on their own a lot more than they would have been home with mom and dad. And so maybe other activities pop in there. That's all part of growing up.
Yeah.
But maybe it comes down to a discussion between if you're thinking about going pro, you think you have what it takes to go pro, are you going to learn more about how to play tennis in the next few years by going pro or by going to college?
Right. College. I mean, if you look at, how do you say, is it Goya?
Goyo, I think.
Goya. Take Goya, for example. Okay, so he was a 14.67, 14.41. Now, you can increase your UTR if you have more routine / decisive scores against your same level. But in order for him to improve his tennis, I mean, he has a very high success rate in college.
I asked Steve Clark to do he was our algorithm guy, rocket science kind of guy.
Right.
I asked him to take a sampling of, I don't know, half dozen players, maybe 8 players, take their 30 scores, and in all of the matches, say out of 30 scores that they won, let's say somebody had 15 wins and 15 losses.
Right.
Took a look at a snapshot of what the UTR was, and then said, look, supposing I go back and I alter every winning score by deducting 1 game from the loser.
Mm-hmm.
And every match I lost, I add 1 game to it.
Right.
And what happened there, he ran this over several players, and it came out to be somewhere around a quarter of a point.
Okay.
That just that one adjustment, 1 game up, 1 game down, affected positively each player's UTR.
Okay, so with the UTR, what you're saying is if you take someone's last 30 matches and everyone that the player defeated, if you could take 1 game away, so they defeated them one game worse.
Okay, so if I beat you 6-4, 6-4.
Yes.
But then it was 6-4, 6-3.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kept doing that for all of my matches that I won. And then on the other hand, if I lost to you in a return match, 6-3, 6-4, if I could have gotten that one more game and make it 4-4 again, that would give me a positive effect.
Okay. All right. Now, so that gives you about a quarter of a point of.
But let's go back and throw in the no ad thing.
Yep.
There are an awful lot of competitive matches. By that I mean the losing players are getting at least 7 games or more in college tennis. If they were playing deuce, would there be as high a percentage, or is it?
My instinct says no. I'm sure there. Yeah, I'm sure. That now, before the singles cranks up on Facebook Live, if you got any questions for the UTR creator Dave Howell, he's here with me. He's not in video mode. Because he went to Bob Seger last night. He's a little roughed up. But if you have any questions for UTR creator, just type them in. He's got some great analytics for competitive analytic information. Now, Sid says, we're talking about Sid, NCAA rules only allow 20 hours per week, including everything, which is true, meetings and so forth.
So how many hours do you want?
That's a good question. Sid, how many hours do you want? UTR Creator says, how many hours you want? How many hours do you think you need to practice? And Felicia, you gave a good point there. The NCAA rules allows 20 for coaching, but they can play as much as they want on their own. And many of these high-level players are very ambitious. If they're not getting their practice needs met, then what she's saying is these level 14 people at Texas and Oklahoma State, that they're getting after it. She's seeing them practice 5-6 hours a day. So, if I had to practice as a coach 5 or 6 hours a day with a player, well, coach, it's hard to do that because you got to recruit. And you got a lot of administrative stuff. But anyway, yeah, how much time do you need to I hear these stories about Rafa and how much he practices, except when I've been to pro tournaments, I've never seen him practice. And I've been there the week before, it's a couple hours a day.
I think they have a lot that 20 hours a week, looking back to when I was coaching for serious junior players.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, they're going to high school and get all the other kind of stuff. I think 20 hours a week was kind of the top of the now that was in the days before homeschooling and all the other kind of stuff. But 20 hours a week is a pretty fair amount of time. Yeah, that's inclusive. That's playing matches, practice, and everything.
Mm-hmm. Now, from this competitive analysis and this UTR work, we might as well share a little bit of some 7-shot tennis. How about if there it is, here. All right, so we got some, here's some standard language for some tennis here. All right, so we got 3 shots down the middle. So Dave kind of came up with this, kind of following up UTR and providing some standard language for the 7 shots of tennis. So we have 3 shots down the middle. 1, 2, 3. 1 is in front of the service line. 2 is behind the service line. 3 closer to the baseline. So you got 3 shots down the middle. Now you got 2 shots cross court. You got forehand hitting cross court here for the right-handed players. That's a 4, and same thing for the backhand. That's a 4, and then you got your sharp angled ones here. You got the 5s. So those are the things that Rafa was hitting all day today in Rome. So you got some 4s and 5s. So we got 2 shots cross court, 4s and 5s. 3 shots down the middle. 1, 2, 3. Then you got your short ball, which is like a drop shot. 7. So Dave, how does this common language here of these 7 shots How does that help a tennis player?
Well, what I find with looking at players, first of all, you might add one thing to your explanation there, which is a good explanation.
Thank you.
An inside-out shot, which is hit on a diagonal. So I run around my backhand to hit a forehand, and I hit it over. That's a 4, as well as hitting more from the right side of the court to the 4.
Mm-hmm.
So mostly what I see is players keep the ball up the middle, and so many players spend most of their life hitting balls in the 2.
Yep.
And maybe they even hit the ball hard in the 2, and the other player is still back behind the baseline, but it's still a 2. Even when the ball goes a little bit farther back, if you get a skinny 3, now you're probably hurting the person a little bit. You're making them take it on the rise, you're pushing them back. But to get really good, you need to string together 2 good shots. So let's say, for example, you hit a couple of balls down the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and you finally get a ball and say, I'm going to take this cross court to the 4. And if you're playing someone about your same speed, they're going to be able to get it back, but at least you've opened the court up.
Right.
So now if you can go 4 on the other side off of what they sent back to you, it's a good chance you can hit those 2 4s in a row. One to the left, one to the right. If you haven't won the point with those 2 shots, you're probably still in command of the point.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier this morning, I was watching some good national 14 and under players, and they would hit that first good shot to the 4, and the ball would come back, and they were hitting back to the 2 and the 3.
Right.
So they kind of get it going, hit one good, but you got to follow it up with. And so that area that you've got in there that shows the 4s, the 5s, and the 6s, that's the same size or the same width as a doubles alley. And so that's why we call those singles alleys.
Mm-hmm.
And
So the higher level players, we're not talking about higher levels. We're talking UTR, like these guys that are playing right now. They shouldn't be playing any 1 and 2 tennis. It should be 4, 5, 6 tennis, and probably back of the 3.
well, I was watching the Wake Forest guys yesterday,
Right.
and going on number 1, he put together some significant points where he went 4-4.
Yep.
Or he went 4 and snuck in and volleyed the ball to the 5. And you could almost see, you could see the first shot and say, okay, this is 1. Is he going to hit the second one? Yeah, he hit the second one. And sometimes he hit the third one, which is probably the easiest one of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And just to recall, okay, what did he do there? Well, he maneuvered to the 4, got a little ball that he could attack on, and then concluded maybe to the 5.
Okay.
That's better players hitting better shots.
Now, reverting back, got a question that came in. Coach Balkin from Hampton, Sydney. What inspired you to create the UTR?
The inspiration came from a trip to France in 2000,
Mm-hmm.
because I got a little bit familiar with what was going on there. And one evening, I went over for a junior tournament. It was a 12 and under event in a small town called Auray, Auray.
Mm-hmm.
And they had this big 12 and under Super 12 event every year. And so I got to see a lot of good kids, but all of the French kids had their rating.
Right.
They had 15-5, 15-4, and maybe the best kid in the tournament, there was a kid might have been a 7-5 or something like that.
Mhm.
It was a strange sounding thing to me, but the inspiration there was, okay, they can do this here in France, and we don't seem to have anything like that in the U.S.
Right.
So after going back a couple times, one of the other significant things was I went one night to a tennis club. I don't like this club right here. And I
Mm-hmm.
watched a 13-year-old kid play a 35-year-old guy.
Okay, so this is Dave Howe, the creative UTR. He's talking about what inspired him about to create the UTR, and he was in France, saw some tournaments. So he was at this big tournament, and he's watching a teenage kid playing a 35-year-old. So that's like a Snapchat guy playing a dude with a mortgage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And it looked like the 35-year-old was going to win the match.
Right.
And all of a sudden, the kid caught fire.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of allays.
So the kid started hitting strong to the 4 cross court.
Well, the kid passed him one time and got his drop shots and that sort of thing.
Now, Dave, just who joined us here on Facebook Live, Rob Barefoot, former Hampton Sydney coach, led Radford to conference championship.
Good job.
And they had to beat the number 1 seed in the semis in order to get there. So that was an excellent job. I'd like to think that I helped Rob by being such a high maintenance parent, and that's why it motivated him to get the hell out of Hampton Sydney and go to Radford. But Rob, keep up the good work, man. You're recruiting some high UTR players, and you're also developing them too. So anyway, as you created this UTR, France, that tournament was an inspiration. What about anything inspire you on a local level?
Well, the big epiphany was looking one day in the newspaper. This is 2004, 2005.
Right.
And I was looking at the high school scores. And that was back in the day when all the high school scores would be published in the newspaper, the local newspaper.
Right.
UTR probably wouldn't have been created today because these scores don't get in the newspaper anymore, at least around here. So I'm looking at, just looking down the list of scores, and it suddenly dawned on me, and I've been looking at this stuff for 30, 35 years, but it just dawned on me that day, what's the most prevalent score I'm looking at in this page? 6-0.
So the most prevalent score in high school tennis on a local level here in the 757, the prevalent set score was 6-0.
Yeah, followed by 6-1.
6-1 was second.
And it kept kind of going like that. And so then I kind of reversed my thinking. Well, let me find what do I think is a good score on here?
Right.
And I finally saw something that was 6-4, 6-3.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, not having seen the match, but just looking at that score, I can imagine that probably could have been a pretty good match to watch.
Right.
And came up with a very simple rule of thumb that if you get 7 games or more, which was one more than half the number of games it took to win. It took 12 games to win. If you could get 7, that was a competitive match. At that time, I felt like, and I still feel that 5 or 6 games is kind of routine, and anything where you can't win more than 4 games. The earliest term we used was morbid.
Yeah.
But again, Steve Clark came along and said, that's not a good term to use.
Yeah.
And so we changed it to decisive. But I started taking all that. I cut out the scores every day that they had high school scores. I did that for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, as good as high school is for getting the numbers out, now we always knew that the scores weren't going to be that great unless you had 2 private schools playing each other.
Right.
Something like that. But that got me into keeping stats on what was going on with that. And with that, then you could begin to look at rating players.
Mm-hmm.
That just grew from from high school tennis to looking at local USTA tennis, looking at sectional USTA tennis, and ultimately national USTA tennis. And the whole purpose behind the thing, as I was working on this and things started to fall in place, it was all about trying to see what could be done to improve American junior development or just American player development. You got to remember, at the same time, Sampras is retiring.
Right.
Agassi is coming to the end of his career.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the Williams sisters. We've got Lindsay Davenport still doing well. She got a Hall of Fame career.
Right.
And the only American that seemed to be emerging at that time was Roddick, who just had the worst luck in the world.
You had a bad birthday, huh?
He just came along at a bad time. If he'd been born a few years earlier,
Yeah.
he might have.
Yeah, he was born that Federer Rafa time.
Yeah, it was just a tough time
Got a little greedy.
to
Now-
come along. But it's all about trying to help, to look to see. What I was really doing, Darryl, is I was trying to examine the American competitive system, which is an age group system.
Yes.
And biggest thing I learned was there's 5 or 6 different levels of play in a standard American tournament.
So I like your quote that got really kind of popular. We often lose people from a great game because we didn't get them a good game, and it's kind of neat what this has evolved. Now, watching the tournament here, Texas, Wake Forest here, they just interviewed the Oklahoma State tennis director, who's also the women's coach, and he's there all fired up talking about the NCAAs and hosting it next year. I will tell you, I learned this in my college coaching, whether you're hosting a conference tournament or you're hosting NCAA championships or everything in between, the advantage of hosting allows you to enhance your tennis facility, allows you to justify it. So it used to be good enough to have just some good tennis courts, but now it's really good tennis courts, amenities, seating, shade, bathrooms, concessions. So from an American tennis standpoint, it's fantastic that as we're seeing Texas and Wake Forest on here, and Wake Forest has a pro event, and certainly the Texas facility is great. It's neat to see the college tennis, the kind of facilities that it's produced, that's being utilized from everything from league tennis to junior tennis all around the country. So, a cliche that we've used is college tennis just it makes your communities better. Now, and speaking of college tennis, Catherine Barrett, look at this. Penn State's facilities have gotten a lot better, but look at that. Decide to dominate. I got some DJ Dozier stuff here. So I see that you're logged on, Catherine. So
Catherine Penn State?
Yeah, Catherine's Penn State. You didn't know that about her?
Go Nittany Lions.
Yeah. So I'm here with Dave Howe, UTR creator, and we're talking about the a little bit about the match that's going on here. Looks like the Demon Deacons. I always hated this point in the match because it kind of takes. It's like you need to go get a glass of wine or something, to come back at 4-all or 4-2 to see. It becomes so what are we there? 3-2, 4-1 for the Deacons, even. So Deacons are up on one court. Everything else is on serve. So as a coach, you're over there, kind of talking to the tennis guys, like, "Come on, man, just give me 4 first sets," And so we talk about player development and people's UTR dropping. I can assure you, there's not a coach over there thinking about their kid improving. He's just thinking about the kid winning. So, but Penn State, they have an opening, women's tennis coach opening up, and Chris Gagel left, and they have some nice new facilities. So I know here on a local basis, Old Dominion's enhanced their facility, Virginia Wesleyan has enhanced their facility, and Norfolk State's facility is relatively new. So all around the country, college tennis is kind of an arms race.
Christopher Newport's got a nice facility.
Yeah, Christopher Newport got an upgrade. So enhanced facilities sure make tennis a lot better. I mean, this isn't in the 70s when there was a tennis boom and everybody's out there and it's hot and they're not worried about the bathroom. They're not worried about water. I mean, people expect some really good amenities.
Yeah, I'm just watching the point. I'm looking at 1-4-15 love of the Texas kid.
Yeah.
Texas kid hit the ball to the 4, came in on another 4. He had 2 4s in a row, and then the guy has to cough up a lob, and he puts the overhead away.
Yeah.
He got 2. He got the impact shot on the first shot to the 4, maintained it, and then got the concluder on a fairly easy shot.
Yeah. So what Dave's talking about, here's the 7 shots of tennis that we discussed previously. You got 3 shots down the middle, and So it's not how you hit the ball, it's where you hit the ball. So Dave's chart and tracked a lot of upper level tennis to see the patterns. So you got 7 shots, 3 of them are right down the middle, 2 are cross court, 4s and 5s. Your 6 is down the line. Your 7 is the short ball. So what we find often in these college matches with these level players, uh, um, getting the patterns to the 4 is very critical. And if you put the ball in the 1 and 2, you might not lose the point right away, but you start to get dictated on and moved around the court that you end up having a panic attack at some point and having a grab bag. So we talk about Jack Sock and his pattern. And his backhand, he would often put it right here in the 2, and then about 3 shots later, he would be 6 feet behind the baseline, and he would go for a great 5, which is a sharp angle cross court. And the worst thing happens is he makes it, and because once he makes it, now that becomes exhibition tennis. And one of Dave's quotes is, you play exhibition tennis, you lose. You're always trying to hit the best shot. So Kyrgios and Jack Sock, they play great exhibition tennis, and whereas Roger Federer gives you a clinic. So you kind of want your player in clinic mode as opposed to exhibition mode. But Dave, I'm telling you, I know Chuck Creasy goes nuts about this no ad. Just the concerning, for play development and get better. I just think no ad produces some underplaying of tennis, and where you get rewarded from the players gravitate to just rallying and putting the ball in the 2, which is right behind the service line. And
okay, let's take a score. Let's say I'm up 40-30.
You're up 40-30.
Okay, if I'm playing no ad. If I'm playing ad, I'm up 40-30, and I get a shot. The other guy hits me a shot in the 2.
Yep.
And I'm moving up, and we haven't talked about the maneuvering area and that kind of stuff. But let's say I'm in position to maneuver. Well, at 40-30, if I have that shot sitting there, I may well take it to the 4.
Right.
And try to open things up and continue forward and take a little bit more risk on the next shot, trying to go to the other 4 or back behind to the 5.
Mm-hmm.
If I lose that point, I'm at deuce, and maybe I get my serve in. We're going to go to ad or whatever, and we go from there. But playing no ad, I'm possibly going to be a little bit more conservative because I don't want to get to deuce because now I'm down game point. I'm up game point, but I'm down game point. That's it's exciting. It gets the thing over with.
Yeah.
But where else do you play this? Do they play it? Well, they play it in the pros and the doubles.
And they played in the pros and the doubles.
Yeah, which is a lot.
Division 3 doesn't.
There's a lot of 14s in the pros playing doubles.
There's a lot of 14s. Yeah, so level 14s play no end. I mean,
maybe that's the deal.
I don't know. What does Division 2 do? If anyone's out there, what does Division 2 play? Division 3 plays with ads.
Yeah.
Division 1, no ads. I do wish there was a uniform team format. If you asked me to sign off on one right now, I would and I think we could get this one by 1 set of doubles, regular scoring, 1 set to 6, and all 3 teams play, and you earn 1 team point. Then for your singles to do 2 out of 3 mini sets. First one to 4, and you can extend the step 5-3, play your tiebreaker at 4 all. So that to me would come out to be about the same time as what we have now. Now I would like to make the doubles 2 out of 3 sets, maybe minis, but I just think you're not going to get that through to the coaches. But all high school tennis, college 1, 2, and 3, a uniform format. I do like the 1 point for the doubles. I don't think if you sweep the doubles, like in Division 3, that you're up 3 and you can win a team match by only winning 2 singles. I like the split, but
I tend to agree with that.
Okay, so we agree. So Dave and I have just now set the format for the NCAA. So this might not even be an April Fool's joke. Okay.
But the mini
Yeah.
23 minis or mini micro.
Yeah.
You might want to explain micro.
Okay, so Dave and I, we have this thought of there's three kinds of sets. There's a max set, which is to 6, normal. There's a mini set to 4, and then there's a micro set to 2. So we've used formats on local competitive UTR tournaments where we've used, instead of a tiebreaker for the third, we use a micro set. So a player, if Dave was going to break my serve and then hold serve, congratulations, he wins. Now, but they could go on where he holds twice, I hold twice, and it's 2-all, and then
Now we do a mini tie.
now we do a mini tiebreaker. So
Can we walk through that? Because do we have time to walk through that?
well, it's not that hard to walk through. A mini tiebreaker is the first of 4 win by 2.
But let's just discuss something here.
Okay, we're discussing a mini
game.
tiebreaker. A game,
Okay, the 12 games we play to get to a tiebreaker.
yes.
What's the minimum number of points you have to win?
Trick question. 4. So out of every game you played, the minimum number to win
get to
again,
4.
you got to get to 4.
And if you're not, but you got to be ahead by 2.
Got to get to 4, win by 2 every
Okay,
game.
So explain to me why the tiebreaker is 7.
I can explain to you why the tiebreaker is 7. I know. The tiebreaker is 7 because some dude got liquored up in some committee meeting.
It was a committee.
It was a committee. Remember, every committee meeting, it's like 2 dudes and one got liquored up, and the other people weren't paying attention.
Well, it may have stemmed from the first tiebreaker when you were a little boy.
Now that tiebreaker I like.
The 9-point.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the invention.
No, wait. Now think about this. Wait. This whole thing is hypocritical. Back in the whatever that was, the 80s, early 80s, we would play a 9-point.
70s,
Okay, 70s. Okay, so 70s. Elvis was alive. So in the 70s, we would play we would play regular scoring with deuces, deuce ad. Then all of a sudden we get to the tiebreaker.
That was a no ad.
Yeah, and the tiebreaker was a no ad. Nowadays, this Division 1, we are playing no ad scoring, but when we get to the tiebreaker, you got to win by 2.
Yeah.
Totally hypocritical. Nowadays, what we should be doing is the 9-point tiebreaker. If we're going to play sudden death, baby, let's let it ride and play sudden death.
Well,
it's very critical.
But you see, the establishment didn't like sudden death.
Who's the establishment?
It was the guys with the blazers and the ties.
The Blazers.
Okay. They didn't like no ad, and I don't blame them. But probably because there was this thing called a 9-point tiebreaker, they said, well, now we got to have ad, but let's go to 7. Why? I mean, you could have just that was an opportunity there to say, can't we just go to 4?
Yeah, it's we got to get on some committees. Hey, now.
No. I did that before.
I know that's you were probably on that committee. That's why we got that damn time. Hey, now listen, Byron has a question here. So he's asking, where do you see the sport headed in the professional ranks? How much longer can Federer and Nadal keep playing? Is tennis in trouble when those guys retire? Yes, Byron.
Yes, yes, it is.
Yes, it is. The game of tennis is going to go down the toilet, but that's okay because we got pickleball. Pickleball's coming to the rescue. So there's some kid somewhere he's training. Yeah, the industry's going to go to crap. There's no more string jobs. Those damn balls last forever. So pickleball. No, actually, Rafa and Federer could probably play into the 80s pickleball. So I think the Federer is going to probably start his pickleball Grand Slam championship. So now, you always think that something's going to replace something, right? It's going to be.
The truth of the matter is you just don't know. Look at any sport.
I know you don't know, but
you look at basketball today,
right?
And how the game has evolved, and the 3-point play is just huge. That's how it evolved.
Yeah, but I think all sports benefits when you have a dominant something, whether it be the dominant of the Yankees. Sorry about this Detroit thing, but dominant Yankees, the dominant Lakers, the New York Knicks, or something dominant. Having a dominant Federer and a dominant couple of players, it could be Martina.
You think a dominant guy on clay for 11 years in a row is a good thing for the game?
Well, no, I don't think that tournament exists. I mean, you're saying Dave thinks, hey,
Well, it wasn't in a row. I know it wasn't in a row.
well, yeah, he didn't win 11 in a row. I think the French Open is like, I'd put that tournament behind. No, okay, Dave, the French Open is not a real tournament because the best players in the world don't win it. I mean, Federer barely won it. Agassi barely won it. Sampras didn't win it. Becker didn't win it. Connors didn't win it. McEnroe didn't win it. Edberg didn't win it. Becker didn't win it. So when
Who's the last player?
The last legitimate player? I mean, I don't count Nadal being legitimate, but anyway.
Well, prior to the Nadal era.
Yeah.
Who was successful on other surfaces?
Lindell. Did I get it right?
That's the last one. The last. I should not.
Mats Wilander.
The last French Open.
Yeah. Mats Wilander. And Wilander won.
Wilander and Nadal.
And Wilander won on grass. I mean, he won his Australian Open on grass. Okay. I just want to get that straight.
Is he listening to that?
Wilander in, because we've had Mats here. Then the wow thing. Let's see, is Mats in there? No. So anyway, Byron, we just see the game going pretty much to crap after
that's what we think based on what we see right now.
Yeah, but how do you project? I mean,
No,
you don't, because I saw Nadal at the U.S. Open. He was playing putt with Clark, and they said, "Hey, you ought to go see this guy play." And he was 50 in the world. And I watched him play on the old grandstand. He had the cutoff, and I thought, man, this guy is horrible because he's kind of clunky.
Same thing with McEnroe in '78 when he came to Virginia Beach.
Yeah. So you don't know.
You just don't know.
I mean, it's Stephen Curry in basketball. You don't know.
He wasn't even the best brother, right?
I don't think he was the best. It's not his mom probably shoots better, So anyway, let's see. We got any other questions coming in? All right, what's the score in the match? We got.
What is the score? Looks like it's still one. We don't have any singles matches done yet. We're probably in first sets here.
I'm going to live scoring. Now, the one thing is I don't know the bonus money these coaches get for winning the national championship. At CummingsAthletics.com, I have some of the contracts, but it's usually in the neighborhood of $20,000-$25,000. Now, I don't know if the interim coach, that guy just wants the job, but when you think about the tennis coaches getting bonus money like $25,000 and no ad scoring, this is a little bit of like Russian roulette.
Can you be a head coach and not be a good recruiter?
No.
Okay, so recruiting is one.
Yeah, I mean you can try to get a chicken to climb a tree, but you got to get some squirrels. I know you like that expression because you think you created it, but yeah, no, you got it. You got to get the players. And so
it's not how good you are with the X's and the O's, and the maneuvers and the fours,
it's
the maneuvers and the attacks.
It's the Jimmies and the Joes, or it's the Gorhos and the Botzers and the. Okay, so I'm going to NCAA live tennis scoring because my. I like that because it kind of lays it out there. Now, who do you think is going to win in the women, Georgia or Stanford?
I haven't really looked at Stanford this year, but it's hard to bet against them.
Yeah, I want Georgia to win. I really want to.
I'm not pro or con. I mean, I like Georgia. I've watched them a few times on TV or whatever, but.
Okay, Gorjo, Wake Forest is down 5-3 at number 1. Number 2, Wake Forest has a first set, so that's one first set. Number 3, down a break, Wake Forest at down 5-3. Court 4, Wake Forest has a first set, 6-2. Court 5, 4-all. And court 6 on serve. So far, Wake Forest has 2 first sets, and there's some leads by Texas in the other ones. Now, my theory on doubles is on the women's doubles, if both teams have the same UTRs, which Georgia and Stanford do, the team that has the lowest acceptance rate in their institution will win the doubles point. So I'm pretty sure I'm saying Stanford.
Win the doubles.
Yeah, no offense to any Georgia graduate out there, but someone's got to be the highest school. I mean Stanford. It's the highest academic school that offers scholarships.
So when you used to play against teams like Harvard and maybe Yale,
yeah, Harvard, yeah, I played
how
those.
do you do in doubles against those guys?
Well, we won a lot of doubles. I had teams that were we won doubles points a lot, and we did well in doubles at the national level, and that's primarily because of I had those 5 ATP points in doubles that I earned, and I learned how to win member guest tournaments. So I was really good at taking, and I was really good at mixed doubles. So I learned how to take inferior talent and put them in position to win. Now, Felicia, she's saying go Stanford women's tennis. Now listen to this. Felicia, she also lived in Palo Alto. I mean, she's lived in tennis mega college towns: Austin, Texas, Oklahoma, lived 5 minutes from Oklahoma State, and Palo Alto. I mean, do you just take, Felicia, how do you end up living in these places? I mean, you just go to the places. I mean, you haven't lived in the Research Triangle there with Carolina and Wake. Okay, so what do we got here?
We got Texas. Texas getting ready to take another first set, looks like today.
They took a first set at number 1.
Yep.
I got live scoring now. But, Gojo, did I say that right? Goya. I feel like I'm like talking like a what's that thing with lamb that you eat? Yeah, no, whatever, that kind of sandwich. Hero. Yeah. Hero. I get confused with those things. But anyway, so but the Wake Forest number one play, I don't think he does not hit the panic button after he loses the first set.
He's okay.
Yeah, he just feels like so we got Texas has a first set at number 3. Now the one thing I do like, this thing goes a little bit faster with no ad. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that portion. But
Darryl, it was only mini sets.
If it was a mini set, it'd be beautiful.
We'd already be into the second set.
I would like a mini set for team matches for 2 out of 3 to deuce. And I'm okay with just one set for doubles. And the reason I am is because it's worth 1 point. So it's like you're playing 2 out of 3, but it's just different teams. It's almost like world team tennis. And since doubles is a bozo kind of situation anyway, and it's 1 point, hell, you might as well let them change players during the match. Let the one guy go up and down. But anyway, so I would go 1 set for doubles, regular scoring, 2 out of 3 minis, regular scoring. I think that's what we should sign off on. Okay, now Wake Forest is rolling at number 4. He's already got the break, so 6-2-2-0. Still 5 is 5-4, 5 all. So we're going to keep this broadcast going until every first set is complete.
Oh, we're going to get through 3 first sets?
Yeah, we're going to
get through all the first sets.
We're going to get through all first sets because
call my wife.
No, your wife's asleep. She's at Bob Seger. So we're going to go through. Okay, now we got a question.
I sound like we got a bunch of fight like hell people listening to us today.
Yeah, fight like hell.
Fight like hell.
Now I will tell you, the last college team I coached, I put this thing up here and I said, "Hey, you want to play 4-5-6 tennis, or you want to play 1-2-3?" And they looked at it and they said 4-5-6. And we, this provided a mental representation. That's a buzzword, mental representation, and then that gave us an opportunity to have some deliberate practice. And we beat the Naval Academy focusing on 4-5-6 tennis as opposed to 1-2-3. Anyway,
And you want to know how the 1, 2, 3, and the 4 all had that? You think that was just something pulled out of the sky, or was it attached? What was the empirical data that drove those selection of those spots and those numbers?
see, this is when he gets like Bill James and Rain Man combined. So it's like I don't know, Dave. How did that? Where did those numbers come from? Was it because were you on like your third beer and you're going 1, 2, 3, and where those numbers come from? I damn sure hope Steve Clark's not watching this because he'd be embarrassed. Steve's our smart partner.
Yes, he is.
The guy can write really well.
Yeah, this is track.
Patent attorney and an engineer. So founder in UTR and 7-shot tennis. Okay, so where'd the numbers come from for 7-shot tennis?
Just hold that thing up there.
Well, wait. Before you got, here's a question. Ask Dave.
Where the numbers came from?
No, ask what maybe the numbers relate to it. Ask Dave what he thinks is the most important attribute a tennis player can have to be successful. I got a feeling, Byron, he's going to link it back to this, man. He's going to link it back to this.
You got to be able to hit at least 2 shots to the singles alleys.
Yeah, so high-level play. Byron, in order for you to be –
attack and conclude.
Yeah, you got to be able to maneuver, attack, and conclude to beat Washington
You
Lee.
ain't going to do that hitting the 2s.
You're not going to be – you got too many guys hitting the 2s. So, and you don't judge a book by its cover. You look to see where the ball – yeah, like remember that video I showed you, that Central Florida guy? That guy, ugliest game, slice forehand. But the guy's playing level 12 ball, or actually 12 and a half. So, Byron, you need some players to play some 4, 5, 6 tennis who can maneuver, attack, and conclude. In your conference final, you had too many – Dave was there. You had too many guys making unforced errors, not even getting into the point, staying into the force.
Yeah, you got to go through a period of time where you do have to aspire to be the third piggy.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go through the piggy stages.
Okay, so you got Rain Man in here with the piggies. So you got the big bad wolf, major weapons just coming at you.
Yeah.
Now then you got 1 piggy, 2 piggy, and 3 piggies.
Yeah. Well,
what is the 1 piggy? Can get 1 defensive ball back?
Yeah.
So 1 piggy, they play defense 1 time, stay in the point. 2 piggy, 2 defensive balls. 3 piggy, there you go.
Now we got brick and block.
We got break and block. Rafa Nadal, what is he?
He's the ultimate third piggy.
Rafa Nadal, the ultimate third piggy.
And he's got some wolf.
And he's got some wolf. But he doesn't bring out wolf all the time. Not
unless he's behind.
Okay, so John Isner, what is he?
All wolf.
All wolf, big bad wolf. So see, there's the big bad wolf, and then there's the 3 piggies. So typically as a coach, you like the big bad wolves at 1 and 2, and you need some third piggies 3 through 6 because they're going to win you that conference championship. Hey, Felicia, the number 5 guy was a tall guy for Central Florida. Had it's like from Australia. Had an ugly slice forehand. My God, he would lay it right up in the 2. He would lay it right up here in this 2. And the guy from Miami just had a panic attack. He'd frame it out of the place because he didn't know whether to come in or stay back or whatever. So, it's not how you hit the ball, it's where you hit it. And that guy at Central Florida, I forgot his name, but I know he's from Australia. Tall guy, number 5. He was a tough out. Beat the Miami guy who was a lot better and should have never lost. Okay, so what do we got in scores? Let me see. Scoring update. Okay, so we got Texas with a set at 1. We got the Cypriot in 2. Marcus Baghdadis, his friend at Wake Forest. He's on rolling. He's up a set and a break. Number 3, Texas, first set. Whoa. And number 4, Wake Forest is rolling 6-2, 3-0. He's serving. That's 2 breaks. The baby's over.
Yeah. Points. Yeah, I shouldn't do this.
You should do it. 5 and 6.
Okay, so number 4.
Number 4.
You said there was 1 American playing somewhere today?
Yes. He's at 5.
He's at 5.
Yeah, Colin Marks.
Where's Harrison Scott from?
I thought the same thing. I thought
Texas kid.
no. Harrison Scott's from Canada. That's like America. Many people think Canada and America is the same thing. But yeah. Harrison Scott.
Cool.
Yeah, I know. When I was doing the research, and I posted this on different things, Harrison Scott, number 4 for Texas, is from Canada. And listen to this. Scott's UTR today, he's a 13.61. His opponent is a 13.07, a sophomore from Montenegro. So that's like 0.5 higher. So Scott's having a bad day. I mean, that's not projected according. That's not like UTR is a body of work. It's not one
Yeah,
man.
we can get into that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, but I'm.
Yes. Okay, so
He's not having a good day. Okay, so 5, the Americans winning, Dave. Colin Marks from Texas, who's a senior. Can you imagine that? You're in the national championship. You're from Texas. You're a senior. Now, he's from Texas. I don't know if he got in-state status for tuition purposes, but anyway, but it says he's from Texas. So, okay, so now we got court 6. Boom, 7-5. So we've completed every first set, and I see that Texas has 4 first sets, right? 1 at number 1, 1 at number 3, and we got 4. And then there's 5 and 6. Texas has 4 first sets. Wake Forest has 2. We're concluding our live stream. We're going to conclude after Dave finishes his thought of the moment. Okay, Dave, wrap it up. He does this to me all the time. Text this, do that, hold that up. So I'm holding. There we go. We got it on YouTube.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, we talked about the piggies and the wolves. We didn't talk about the beast. That's okay. So the 1. So fairly early days or some sort of days into the whole UTR thing.
I got a shout out. Josh Goffey's on Facebook Live. A great year at South Carolina this year. Fabulous. You're doing great stuff there. Go Gamecocks. All right, Dave. 7-shot tennis. This is a follow-up to UTR. Go ahead.
I'm working my last job. I'm at Greenbrier Country Club in Chesapeake, and I'm running. We finally got all the levels in for the local stuff. So I got level 1s, 2s. I got a tournament going on with level 1s and 2s.
All right.
Level 1s playing 1s, 2s playing 2s.
UTR 1s, UTR 2s.
So I'm watching the 1s, and these are beginner players. They're just good enough to get the serve in at least half the time.
Right.
And they can bump a few more balls back and teach them how to keep score, but we monitor the courts and everything. But for the most part, I'm watching and I'm saying, it seems like most of the balls that they're hitting in play are landing in front of the service line.
Right.
And they're standing in what you got up there is the 3. They're standing in so-called
no man's
land.
Right. So these are UTR level 1 kids bumping it right down 1-to-1.
Yeah. Now, throughout my teaching career, I always remember people, yelling at their kids, you got to get out of no man's land. You got to get
which made no sense.
You're playing level 1.
No, because
if you're playing level 1.
Because if you did that, you're going to play double.
You're get to the ball.
You're going to play double bounce tennis.
Yeah.
Right.
So then I started saying, well, that's just sort of interesting, stuck in the back of my mind. And so, well, 1s tend to hit to this area that we probably define as a 1.
Okay.
Looking at the 2s, a little bit more experience.
Right.
Their strokes are growing a little bit in length. They're doing more than just bumping. Okay. And they're kind of moving back a little closer to the baseline because the length of their average rally is now getting over the service line into the 2 area.
This is UTR creator Dave Howe talking about some UTR experience in player development.
So then I thought, well, that's interesting. And so the next time I watched 3s, look at a 3 tournament, I said, well, Now they're all the way back,
Yes.
and they're playing pretty much straight up the middle.
Right.
And not all the balls are going in three because we don't even see that at the upper level.
Djokovic can put them a lot in three,
okay.
but yeah, right.
But
primarily,
there were a lot more balls that were going over the two into the three, and
so UTR level threes were hitting the
but
threes.
they're still playing pretty much a narrow court, an
Right,
18-foot wide court,
Right.
not a 27-foot court.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, one girl takes a forehand and hits it cross court.
To a four.
Well, at the time, I didn't know whether it was a four or not. I just know that she hit the ball cross court, and the other kid couldn't get it, forced
Mhm.
into an error, or couldn't get it. And I said, "Well, she's the best player of the threes.
Yeah. So
She must be a four." Okay.
should ball cross court to the four.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Now,
this is how the UTR numbers came
the
into play.
five was a little bit of an invention,
Mm-hmm.
but at five, the kids are starting to spin the ball more. And nowadays, I think tennis pros are doing a much better job teaching kids
Right.
strokes.
Yes.
Not so much shots, but teaching strokes. And you begin to see that the kids can be able to hit that short angle with some top spin. And so that's where the five came from. And then ultimately, the down the line shots a little harder.
Yeah.
And as our good friend Alex Concado said when you showed this to him,
Mm-hmm.
it was the UTR sophisticated algorithm guy from
Yeah.
at the start. We explained that, or you explained to him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, the drop shot.
Yep.
So, gee, okay, so the higher the number, the more difficult the shot.
Higher the number, the more difficult the shot.
There it is. 7-shot tennis.
7-shot tennis. Commentary, Wake Forest, Texas. Texas now has four first shots in singles. Dave went to Bob Seeger last night. I'm exhausted from holding this up. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you soon. Ciao.
So you had a grand total of 7 people.
Oh.